Have you ever heard distant sirens while expecting a loved one, and your brain immediately responds with, "So they're definitely upside down in a ravine"? Or maybe you get a short email from your boss asking you to hop on a call in the morning, and your brain goes, "Okay, well, it's been a good run." Or you feel a small pain in your chest, and your brain quietly whispers, "So this is how it ends." If your brain treats every maybe like the trailer to a horror movie, it's not broken. In fact, it's doing exactly what it was built to do. Today, we're going to unpack why the mind defaults to worst-case scenarios and why uncertainty feels worse than actual bad news. And if you like this kind of content, please hit like or subscribe. It actually helps way more than you think it might. There's a name for the thing your mind does where it spins up the end of the world. It's called catastrophic simulation. It's when the brain starts running disaster scenarios in a loop, often with surround sound, amplified way beyond what's actually happening. You don't just think, "I might get bad news from the doctor." You think, "I get bad news, I lose my job, I lose my health insurance, I have to move into my cousin's basement and become a part-time street musician." Our brain rarely stops after the first sign of trouble. Instead, it fast-forwards to the very end of the worst-case scenario story. And here's the interesting thing. The emotional peak isn't usually when the bad thing actually happens. It's while you're waiting. Waiting for the diagnosis. Waiting for the meeting. Waiting for a teenager to text back, even though statistically the most likely explanation is that the phone battery died and not that they're lying in a ditch. The waiting is where the pain lives. And that's clue number one. Your brain is not upset about reality. It's upset about uncertainty. Which begs the question, why does the brain assume danger first, even when there's no evidence? The answer to that sits deep in our evolutionary wiring. Let's reset expectations. Unfortunately, the brain was not built to make you happy. It was built to keep you alive. And keeping you alive requires more than recognizing danger when it's happening. It requires predicting danger before it happens. Think about our ancestors. If you were an ancient human walking along at dusk and you heard something rustle in the tall grass, the right move was to assume lethal predator, not probably just the wind. The cost of being wrong? Mild embarrassment. The cost of being right but ignoring it? Game over. So the brain developed a rule that's been baked into our wiring for tens of thousands of years. Better to be jumpy and wrong 99 times than miss the one time that actually kills you. The modern translation is, better to assume the meeting means you're getting fired than be blindsided later. Or better to assume the chest pain is catastrophic than miss it the one time it matters. In evolutionary mathematics, your anxiety has been profitable. And this is the twist. Your brain assumes the most dangerous threats are the ones you can't see yet. Not the problems you already know, but the problems that might be silently approaching. Once a threat becomes real, we adapt. The problem is what happens before we know, and the brain hates that space. We often handle bad news strangely well. Humans adapt. Once something becomes concrete, we start planning. But uncertainty has no edges. There's no shape to hold on to. There's a big difference between known unknowns and unknown unknowns. The former is knowing a situation is risky, but having some idea what the risk is. The unknown unknowns are not knowing what could happen or even what direction it might come from. It's walking into your garage at night, hearing something clatter, and not knowing whether it was just a broom falling or if it was something with eyes. Your brain hates open loops, so it picks the scariest conclusion just to give the story an ending, even if that ending is wrong. For an example, waiting for medical results is often worse than hearing, "Yep, here's what it is, and here's what we're doing." Being unsure if layoffs are coming is worse than hearing, "Yep, you're impacted, and here's the severance plan." Uncertainty is a threat multiplier, and the brain fills the empty space with catastrophe, which means we're carrying an ancient alarm system into a modern environment that doesn't match reality at all. The brain was shaped in a world of environmental threats. Predators, poison, infections, rival tribes. Today's threats are not things hiding behind bushes. They're more subtle. Being embarrassed in a meeting, not being invited to something, a partner saying, "We need to talk." Your primitive risk detector can't differentiate emotional threat from physical threat. So when your boss says, "Hey, can we chat tomorrow?" your nervous system reacts as though you've heard a twig snap in the forest. You're running saber-toothed tiger software on modern office problems. Your brain is using ancient survival methods to interpret Slack messages. That mismatch is one of the great design flaws of our human wiring. There are two cognitive biases that play a starring role here. The first is negativity bias. Our brains give more weight to negative possibilities than positive ones, because good things wasted are not fatal, but bad things overlooked absolutely could be. The second is the vividness bias. If you can clearly imagine something, your brain starts treating it as statistically likely. You hear one story about a plane crash, now you can picture the sequence of events perfectly, and your brain goes, "Well, since it's so easy to visualize, it must be likely." But your brain never applies the same vivid imagination to positive outcomes. We rarely picture, "I'll go in, they'll say I'm doing great, and I'll get a raise." The disaster movie has better special effects, and your brain is an excellent special effects studio, and Catastrophe is its favorite genre. The surprising thing is, that same mental machinery, the one that creates emotional chaos, can actually become a strategic advantage. Believe it or not, worst-case simulation isn't always bad. It's what allows engineers to design safe products, parents to anticipate consequences, project managers to schedule realistically, pilots and surgeons to prepare for edge cases. The problem is not that the brain imagines risks, it's that it doesn't know when to stop rendering. It treats every minor uncertainty as an existential threat, and that's when the simulator starts driving the car. The goal is not to shut off worst-case thinking, as that has evolutionary value. The goal is to take the steering wheel back. When the simulator never switches off, we need ways to regain control, not by shutting it down, but by managing it consciously. There are a few small techniques that can help mitigate disaster thinking. Number 1, name the simulator. When you notice that mental reel beginning, say, "There's the simulator again." It creates separation between you and the story. Suddenly, it's a process, not a prophecy. Number 2, run the scenario all the way through. Most catastrophes only feel catastrophic in the first frame. I got fired. And then what? You'd apply elsewhere. You'd call people. You'd adjust. Rarely does it end with exile and ruin. Number 3, ask a boring question. What's the most likely outcome here? Not the dramatic one, not the cinematic one, the boring one. The outcome that would never make it into the movie. That answer is usually the correct one. Number 4, time box the worry. Give the disaster scenario 5 minutes. Write it down if you want, but then resume your life. Anxiety has momentum, and breaking the loop interrupts it. Number 5, check for actual evidence. Ask yourself, what do I know right now? Not what your imagination rendered in 4K. Often the answer is simply, I don't have enough information yet, and that realization alone can reduce the intensity. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It's overprotective. It's an old security system running on outdated firmware. It evolved to see invisible threats, because invisible threats, not the visible ones, were the most dangerous. But today, most of the threats are emotional, social, reputational, logistical. And your brain doesn't know the difference. If you default to worst-case thinking, it often means you're someone who prepares, plans, anticipates, someone who cares. Just don't let the simulator run unsupervised. Because when you step back, the truth is almost always more boring than the version your brain drafted. So the next time your brain sees a minor hiccup and begins scoring the soundtrack to a psychological thriller, just remember that's not a prophecy. That's just a hyper-vigilant bodyguard doing its job with a Stone Age instruction manual. If you found any of this helpful or interesting, please like and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what's the most ridiculous worst-case scenario your brain has ever invented? As always, thanks for watching. Be kind to each other and take care.